All right, thank you. I'd like to welcome my cousin Joe Guidi to come on up to say a few words, lead us in prayer, and say a few words.
Good afternoon, everybody. Thank you for coming. It was a great honor when I was asked to say a few words from the Bible, read a couple scriptures on behalf of my tia, my Auntie Gloria. She was an awesome person, and I know that I loved her very much, and I'm sure all of you did as well. This is truly a celebration of life because Tia was life. She was full of life. And when I was asked to do this, I thought, well, I could read the traditional scriptures, and I'm going to, but I also wanted to look a little further into the Bible to see what it said about Tia, because it says a lot of great things about her as well. And one of the traditional scriptures is, it says, let your heart not be troubled. In my Father's house there are many mansions. And I know that Tia is rolling in a mansion right now. She got a big one, and she's got this great crown with lots of jewels in it, I'm sure, because she did so much for everybody around her. And in Ecclesiastes it says, for everything there's a season, a time to be born, a time to pass, a time to plant, a time to harvest, a time to tear down, and a time to build up, a time to cry and a time to laugh, a time to grieve and a time to dance. And when I saw that, I thought, gosh, there's three things in there that really stand out to me that speak of my aunt, and that is build up. She's always so positive. Like, the one word that comes to mind when I think of Tia is sweetie. Like, she always called me sweetie every time I saw her. And laugh. Like, her laugh was so consistent and contagious. It was always, she's always smiling and laughing. And dance. And in this scripture, dance is referring to the opposite of grieving. And that's being happy and jubilant, and I believe that's what she'd want us to be feeling right now, like Bob said. So that was just like a confirmation when you said that your mom would want us to all be happy and truly celebrate her life. So I looked up some scriptures that reminded me of my aunt, and one of them is Ecclesiastes, where it says, and also that every, said man, but I put woman in there, should eat and drink and see and enjoy the good of their labor. And boy, does she work hard for her family and her kids. You know, she truly did. And in Proverbs it says, a heart full of joy and goodness makes a cheerful face. And as you guys can see, with all these pictures, she's always smiling. And in Job it says, he will fill your mouth with laughter and your lips with joyful shouting. And in James it says, every good and perfect gift is from above, coming down from the Father of heavenly lights. So she truly was a gift to all of us. And although we look back and celebrate Auntie Gloria's life, we still grieve, and that's healthy. So let's be encouraged by some of these scriptures. Like in John 16, it says, so you have sorrow now, but I will see you again, and we will all rejoice. And this is where I personally invest my faith, is someday we're going to be all back together again. And I'm sure right now, Auntie Gloria and Darren and Vito and Lisa and Uncle Jimmy, Cousin Jimmy, you know, everybody's, her parents, Auntie Ophelia and Uncle Jimmy, I'm sure they're munching some good menudo right now. What do you think? Right? Because menudo was a specialty in that house. And of course, tamales. We can't forget those famous Johnston tamales. So in Corinthians it says, all praise to God, the Father of our Lord Jesus Christ. God is our merciful Father and the source of all comfort, and he comforts us in trouble. And finally, in Matthew it says, Jesus says, come to me, all of you who are weary and carry heavy burdens, and I will give you rest. Take my yoke upon you. Let me teach you, because I am humble and gentle at heart, and you will find rest. I will find rest for you and your souls. For my yoke is easy to bear and my burden is light. So with that, let's bow our heads for a quick prayer. Lord, we come before you, God, and we thank you for this beautiful life that you have shown us through my Auntie Gloria. Lord, we pray that she is just celebrating right now, right here along with us. We pray that all of us who are grieving, that you would make our burden light, Lord, and that today would truly be a celebration of life. So we want to say we love you, God, and we thank you for this time. In Jesus' name, amen.
All right, thank you. Let's go. I know you're probably not supposed to applaud prayers and stuff, but I figure, let's get the energy up and let's have a good time today. That's the way my mom would want it. So, and that's what today's all about. This is, everything you see here today is really what she wanted and the way she wanted it. So we're just here to honor that and honor her and just bring her in today to enjoy that with us. So, well, she had been so sick for so long, and I kind of went through, I found myself at times going through what I would say in this moment for years. And I had to redirect my mind because I didn't want it to happen. But, eventually it does. And after the passing of my brother, we had this amazing year with her. And that was hard because she was sick, but it was also such a gift. So, I'm crying, but I'm really smiling inside because I had something that was very special. And she passed away like about a month ago. And what we learned from my brother was that, don't do it the week after. It's just too hard. Give it some time and let things settle and bring some memories up and let things happen a little slower so you don't make, blabbering idiot of yourself in front of the room. But it looks like that's going to happen anyway. So you can imagine 2019 was difficult, but again, having that year with her was such a blessing. Every day being able to, kiss her hello, tuck her in at night. She was born on June 4th, 1942. 1942 was a powerful year. It's the end of the World War II. And she was born under the signs of Gemini, and ironically enough, she was born exactly, I think it was 6 years between my Aunt Irene and my mom. So they both had birthdays of June 4th. My Aunt Irene was older. Sorry. And she was born to my grandmother and grandfather, Jim and Ophelia Johnston. They had 3 siblings. Her oldest is my Uncle Jimmy, who's passed, and her 2 sisters, my Aunt Irene and my Aunt Jeanette. And my mom has always considered herself the baby of the family, because she was the last one born. But don't let that fool you. She was a strong woman. She managed to raise three children on her own and with a hairdresser salary, and she really showed us that we could do anything we put our minds to, because she did anything that she put her mind to. I first met my mom on September 14th, 1964 in a hospital, and we've been close ever since. A year and a half later, my brother was born, and 4 years after that, my sister Brandy. My mom, she was a great cook. My earliest memories of her were sitting at the table until I finished my food, so I never really appreciated her cooking until I got older. But as I got older, I began to appreciate how good of a cook she was. In fact, people would rave about her concoctions, which you will eat today. And they may be high in fat and high in cholesterol, but they're also high in love and high in taste. So enjoy. If you're on keto, you're off today. Sorry. As a kid, I remembered my mom would always make things special for us. Although sometimes, life got tough, my mom would always make everything okay. She always made things fun. Even moving houses was fun, and we did that a couple times. She was also always kind. She taught us the value of kindness and how important kindness was. She taught us that family was the most important thing, and that you treat your friends like family. And what a valuable, precious lesson that was for us. My mom was the matriarch of our family. She had a knack for bringing people together like a true matriarch would. Everything from managing my sister's Bobby Sox team to organizing trips to Vegas to organizing cruises to Mexico. My mom thrived on relationships and bringing people together. And by the way, we're organizing a trip to Mexico. There's sign-up sheets on your tables. These trips that she would organize were always a blast. Even when challenges occurred, she made them special. She made the best of it. In fact, I remember one time when we were on a trip to Las Vegas, we didn't have enough to qualify for the discount at the hotel, but we decided we were going to go anyway. And when we didn't realize the hotel was going to count the people on the bus, so what my mom did was she had people get counted and then get back on the bus and get counted again. Eventually, she came clean with the hotel, and they gave us a discount anyway. So she was very creative and very. She was just the bond, the person that put everything together, brought people together. But when I was a teenager, my sister was in Bobby Sox, and my mother managed her team. And I was looking for part-time work at the time, so I became an umpire, and so did my brother. And before long, we were all running the league. And so we'd spend our days on the field, and the nights toilet papering people's houses. I'm sorry if I've hit your house by accident, but that's the way it goes. For me, like I said, my mom always made things special for my brother and my sister and I. And when it was our birthday, she'd always have a special dinner for us to celebrate. And I remember when we were very young, my mom used to rent those old film projectors, where you put the film on and you roll the film through the machine and played those. And I don't remember where she got them from. I think it had something to do with like the Louis connection, through the fishing boats and some kind of organization there. But we played movies like Godzilla versus King Kong and Dracula and things like that for our birthday parties. And so it was special and memorable. And I just thank God for those amazing memories. At Christmas, even though times got tough sometimes, she would always shower us with presents. She always made sure that we had amazing, memorable Christmases. And those times were special to her. When it came to playing cards, well, some of you know, she was a bit of a shark. Nobody loved it more than my mom. I remember as a little boy, card games would be played at my grandparents' house on a regular basis. And that was, even though I remember the pain of not being able to play in those games because I was too small, it was that kind of family environment that brought people together. I remember how much I wanted to play, and I didn't know how. And it wasn't until I was old enough that my mom started showing me how to play, and I was able to sit in some of the adult games. And she taught me to play all sorts of games, games like Tripoli and Uno and Rummy, and then she taught me how to play them for money. And then it was on. Eventually, we played games like Texas Hold'em, and that's the one we stuck with. And I don't remember exactly how I got started, but eventually we were holding weekly Texas Hold'em games at my house. We usually have about 10 players with a $10 buy-in and no rebuys, and we would have multiple games. And when you busted out, you'd go sit in the loser's lounge, right, Martin? Play Rock Band until the next game started. And on holidays, it was no different. After the food and festivities were over, the card game would often break out as my mom and brother instigated and orchestrated that event. Recently, my mom would go play poker at a guy named Dave's house. Dave had a warehouse in El Cajon where he'd host a game every Friday night. And my brother would take her to those games. Those games are still going on today. When my brother passed last year, I started taking her to the games, and she just loved it. I mean, she would go out and sit there with just a bunch of dudes. They're all smoking pot, and she's just sitting there, playing games and taking their money. She was the only sober one at the table, and it was great. She loved it. She looked forward to it. and it was just really a good time for her. She looked forward to it all week long, and it's sad for me to think that she really wanted to go to that last game, and she just never made it because whatever. But she was really excited about those times. And bingo was another thing she loved. When I was little, I always wanted to go with her, but I was, again, too young. But when I became a teenager, still underage, she brought me anyway. And I remember going to Our Lady of Guacamole down in Logan Heights. I think that's what it was called. We would eat tacos and play bingo, and everyone was so nice. I remember two of my favorite numbers were 13 and 14. We play them at the corner in bingo, and I would play them on a regular basis. And she, when we got there, they weren't the cards that were printed out where you daub them. These are the old cards where they're physical cards, and you look for your cards before you go in, and you have to slide the little door to close them. And a few weeks ago, I'm on the couch and kind of, just really upset about losing her and wishing there was a sign, that she was still with me. And I noticed that the score of the game had been up on the screen for a long time. The score was 13-14. And, tears just welled up in my eyes as I realized that, she was still here with me. And the funny thing is, as I was writing that down, I was doing it on my phone as I was taking a walk around the neighborhood, and I'm passing the sign that says Todd Gloria for city council, and it just gives me chills sometimes of different signs that come up at the right time. My mom loved going to the casino, as you can tell by the flowers and the festivities here. She went every chance she got. My brother and sister would often take her to the casino. They spent many hours playing bingo and slot machines, and they would often come home with piles of food, and every now and then a pile of cash. Some of our favorite restaurants that we used to go to were sandwich shops down in Ocean Beach, like Poma's Deli and Chris's Liquor. She used to love the harpoon sandwich which was pastrami with sauerkraut. Yeah. Afterwards, not so good, but it was delicious. We love to eat at Felipe's. We go sometimes on Sunday morning at the Spice House. Sometimes I'd meet my daughter and my son there. And then every time we go to poker, we'd stop at Greek Chicken on Bradley in El Cajon and have the Greek chicken salad. And we had a spot there we'd sit at dinner before each game, and I was there recently. It was sad to see it empty and to wish that she was there with me again. Like I said, my mom's last year was a tough one. We lost her brother in January, and then the doctors advised us soon after my brother passed, they advised us to put her in a care facility. And we refused to do that. After seeing my brother in there, it just wasn't something we were willing to do. We figured we'd do it ourselves. And she didn't want to go, neither did we. So when you insisted, we brought her home, and I made her as comfortable as possible. I took care of her the best I could, and my sister did as well. And we just kind of 24/7, we were back and forth, up at night and doing the best we could. And it was just, it was a gift to see her every day. Like I said, to kiss her good morning and tuck her in at night. One of the traditions we used to have between my mom and I and my sister and my brother is on every Sunday we'd watch during football season we'd watch the Chargers play, and she loved to cook chorizo burritos or atole, chocolate atole. And we'd eat breakfast while we watched the games together. And we always looked forward to Sundays like that. And although we didn't spend every Charger game together, she would always be with me in spirit, because she would call me or I would call her when they scored to see if we saw that. And it was no surprise that she passed away in the middle of a game. And I thought that was, to me, that was special. So to my mom, I say, I miss you more than you could know. I want you to know that I love you with all my heart, and that the love you gave me will never be forgotten. I cherish the times we had together, the way you taught me to love and live. You were always there for me when I needed you most. I could always count on you to listen to me when I needed advice. You were always my number one fan, and I know you are here with me now. I know you will always be with me, and that we will always be connected. But I still miss you. I miss seeing your face and hearing your voice, and I miss your back scratches and your dinners and your poker games and your Christmases and your birthday wishes and your advice and your smile and your laughter and your humor and your compliments and your phone calls saying that you just wanted to hear my voice. So, Mom, you were the best mother anyone could ask for. Thank you for your wonderful life that you gave me and the amazing memories, and I promise to make you proud, and I'll never forget you. I love you forever. I thought you chickened out. Yeah. Thank you. So, thank you very much. So my sister Brandy will say a few words, and then we'll have, if you want to come up, just raise your hand, and we'll have you come up, and we'll go from there.
Well, I'm not a professional speaker like my brother, so just bear with me, please. I may have the same humor. That really sucks getting old. Today is already overwhelming. I just have to say, looking at everyone around here, family, friends of ours, friends of my mom's, high school friends, gosh, it's really powerful, and thank you. So I'd like to start off by saying thank you to a few family and friends, Sherry and Victoria, for all the beautiful flowers you always do for us. My wedding, for my mother, my brother, thank you. Jeanette, for the amazing Mexican spread that we're about to have, thank you. Robin, for keeping us hydrated back there, thank you. Robin, Ryan, sorry, not you, Robin, yet. Ryan, thank you for the beautiful memory cards and the posters. Thank you, cuz. And you are a cousin no matter what, whether you like it or not. My work wife, Michelle, thank you for all the tables, chairs, and just being there for me. I appreciate you. Now, Robin, okay. Thank you for all the prepping, setting up, and being you. You are just, I love you, babe. You're after him, okay? Cousins, for all your support today and every day. Just love you all. Thank you. And Bonnie for our offering, this amazing venue. So if you have any questions about this venue, you go to Bonnie. So thank you for all for supporting our family through the passing of our brother Darren and now our beloved mother. We can never imagine life without Mom. Yes, hello. Through the passing of our beloved Darren and our beloved mother, we could not imagine life without Mom. Nor could we ever prepare for the grief we've lived this past year. Today is about celebrating our mother in a way that she requested. Her first request was mariachis, as now you know. You're stealing all my thunder, Bobby, that's not cool. And then the second was one big party. Mom grew up in Shelltown, where most of her aunts and uncles also resided. She used to share stories about having the only TV on the block and how all the cousins would come over and watch it. Yeah, it was way back when the TVs first came out, a long time ago. I love to hear about all the garage parties they would have and the music they would play. how the song Angel Baby was written from her cousin and his wife sang it, Rosie sang it. These stories would never get old. She loved to dance and she was really good at it. She also loved to sing, but not so well.
You got that from her.
I did. I can't sing worth a lick, unless after a few sangrias. She later went to Paloma High, where she grew up on Chatsworth, and met some amazing people that are sitting over there and over there. Thank you. And still in contact up to her last day with us. Her dream was to become a beautician, so off to beauty college she went. She retired after 37 years. It's a long time. So her being a beautician, I mean, I don't know about your beautician. My beautician's my cousin, so I can tell her a lot. But you tend to say a lot of stories, and she had a good ear for it. Family was everything to her. She had a bond with her sisters, Irene and Jeanette, like no other. Their kids were her kids, and each of them were very special to her, and you know that. Jeanette and Mom were the pranksters. They used to have many sleepovers while Uncle Louie was out fishing. It was like watching teenagers playing hide and go seek, and who was going to pee their pants first. Always ended up in a tie. These gals were nonstop. It didn't matter where they were, the grocery store, running into the house, even at the casino. They were always laughing and creating memories. Irene and Mom had a slightly different bond. Irene played the older sister role and guided, and also with the unconditional love and guidance. These gals were born on the same day and married on the same day, just years apart. If one had a kid, the other one would have one too. But these three together were comical. I was Mom's road dog at an early age. I would always tag along with her everywhere she went. She was rarely alone. She would take me to bingo underage. Ah, me too. Always breaking the rules. And I would work in the kitchen, then hang out until it was time to go. After bingo, we would go to one of her friends' house to play cards, Naz, Judy, which is where I learned how to play all these types of off-the-wall card games. Mom organized bus trips to Verona to play bingo back in the day, in the late 80s, where they had a handful of slot machines. Yep, way back when. Age myself. She loved to play cards with the boys every Friday, played 3 times a week at times. Loved her casino. Oh my gosh, she used to manipulate us. She used to, let me tell you, it was her Disneyland. I would say, we'll go if you're ready in 5, after she gives me the pout and the puppy eyes and everything. It was crazy. I said, we'll go if you're ready in 5. And sure enough, she'd get herself ready, which was practically impossible for her, and out the door before I was ready to go. It was like a miracle would occur when you mentioned the casino. She is at her favorite Shamrock slot machine. That's in the big one right now. Actually, I played it this week. Didn't do so well. I did. Mom was a dreamer. Imagine the impossible. She was also an entrepreneur, known to organize many trips to Vegas, as we just heard, until she found out they had casinos on cruise ships. We've sailed maybe 6-7 times. I lost track. One time we were cruising, and it was my mom and a few cousins when she had to go to the bathroom. Well, we've been drinking a few or more, so it was like the blind leading the blind. Walked around a corner when we saw a bathroom door. We were all giggling. Bathroom door opened, so we all darted in, her first. So she gets in the stall, and the rest of us are giggling until we notice the urinal. I said, Mom, we're in the men's bathroom? She's like, no, we're not. And then all of a sudden you heard a raspy man's voice saying, yes, you are. Oh my God, we lost it. Right, Robin? It was hilarious. We may have left her there. We did. We really did. But please don't judge. Actually, we went into the next bathroom, the right bathroom, because it was that funny. She loved to watch the Padres no matter how bad their season was, and loved to watch football, especially the Saints. She used to play softball back in the day. I remember shagging balls and going to all her games. All three of us playing ball meant a lot to her, especially when we're on the same team. She was my Bobby Sox manager, always involved in trying to make a difference. She used to be on the toilet paper committee, organizing whose house we would toilet paper, then run back to our house with the water balloons, because we, kind of do that right after the game, get all the water balloons ready. And then, so we had water balloons and hose in our hands. So when we got hit, we were ready. Yeah. Again, sorry, Judy. She had a lot to clean up. It was, you remember, huh? It was a blast. I hired a stripper one time for her birthday and had him come out to the softball field. I think I was like 15, 16. I don't know why the other parents didn't approve. Yeah. She had my brothers and their friends, her friends, and my uncle all involved. They made those days my best childhood memories. Mom made every holiday special. Even as an adult, she used to give me a Valentine's Day card and Easter basket. Never grew out of that. We even had an Easter egg hunt about 15 years ago. Let me tell you, there was a lot of pushing and shoving going on. Because there was money in it. It was fun. Birthdays were always extra special. We threw her a birthday party one time, and she just bought a new bra. Apparently, she felt the need to show everyone, lifting up her shirt saying, "Have you seen my new bra?" That was her, though. That was her humor. She was, no filter. She would also be the first call I would make on the new year, when the new year began. Mom was great about keeping traditions. Mom was a strong woman, rarely cried, and always made ends meet as a single parent. She created this woman standing before you. And I'm blessed that God picked you as my mom. Till we meet again. A glorious mother.
All right, the hard part's over. For us, but the hard part's just beginning for you. So, so I know a few of you would like to come on up. Let's start with Robin, and then we'll ask you to keep it to right around 2 minutes, so we get a chance for everybody that wants to come up to say something. And again, as soon as we're done, we'll start eating in the back, and then we'll have the mariachi band come on up. So Robin, come on up.
So knowing that she would be here with all of us, in spirit, I wrote this to her instead of writing it about her. My dearest Tia, my fondest memories of you and your biggest influence came to me as an adult. Growing up, I saw you intermittently, but always remember stories of your shenanigans and lovableness from my grandmother and mother. I recall as a child thinking of you and your sisters as my 3 musketeer aunts. Growing up, I realized we were cousins. I was graced to call you Tia and be in your global sphere of love. Your love of family, bringing people together, sense of humor, inspired me and made me adore you. Sitting at a poker table with you, I found myself cheering you on as you took my chips and money, all the while making me laugh and the room with your witty one-liners. You were definitely remarkable. I have such an appreciation that I was able to see how much you loved being a mother, a sister, a nana, aunt to so many, friend, and outstanding poker player. Next to your greatest gift of unconditional love to me was giving birth to my heart sister and soul. Excuse me. Next to greatest gift of unconditional love to me was giving birth to my heart and soul sister Brandy and nourishing that love. I promise to you I will do my best to be there for her and Bobby. Till we meet again, Tia. I love you.
All right. Who's next? Come on up. This is John Alvarado. Alvarado.
Like avocado?
When I was a young child, I've been working all my life. Since I was 12, always had a child. And I remember hearing the stories about how the family got together. And I had a sense of loss. But every time I saw Gloria, she made me feel special. There's no denying she had a smile that could sail a ship. And she was on many of them. We're all here because we have a connection. Question is, do you know where the original connection comes from? Her family on one side of this listing that I have here. Her family goes all the way to 1326. Her family were the Knights of Santiago. The Johnstons came out of Texas, late 1500s. You ever want to see what your heritage is, at least on that part of the side of the family? Go to BALLI.org. You'll see Gloria. And some of you. For me, what is represented here is love and respect for a woman who loved her family. I share your pain, and yet at the same time, I share your joy, knowing that she's in a better place today. I think it's safe to say that we're here because we loved her. I just want to thank you for the opportunity to be your cousins. My mom is here, and so many of her family members are also here, and it just makes me feel extra special. God bless you. And let me give you one little thing that I'm not sure that some of you might be aware of. Young people today, and I've been a teacher for the last 30 years, young people today have no idea where they came from, what their history is. And I would suggest to you, even if it's just getting a few of the generations together, give them a sense of who they are and where they came from. It's so important, so important. God bless.
John, did the Knights of Santiago have a casino by any chance?
They might have started the first one.
All right. Anyone else like to go? All right, Corey, come on.
Ooh, wow, this is overwhelming. So I feel honored to be here among all of you and to be considered family. Gloria May Dietrich was so many things to so many people in her lifetime. I know that she touched the hearts of every single person here today. To me, she was the mother I never had. I lost my mom when I was 11 years old, and I never really knew what it was like to have a real mom. Gloria showed me what a mom should be. From the moment I met her, she welcomed me with open arms and treated me like I was part of the family, because that's just the type of person that she was. Gloria loved me unconditionally as if I was one of her own kids. She was there for me and stood by me, even though sometimes I maybe didn't make that very easy. Gloria lived with Bear and I for many years, from about 2005 or 6 to 2011. She gave me hope during the 2.5 years we tried to get pregnant with our first child. But when I finally did get pregnant, she was there through it all. I actually went into labor with Darren on a Sunday night, which was also poker night. Even being the die-hard poker player that she was, she still stayed home to make sure I was okay. She was there for all the firsts in little Darren's life, giving him his first haircut, of course. They had an amazing bond, as she also took care of him when I went back to work. We would talk on the phone every single day, and she would always listen patiently if I needed to vent. She would also be the voice of reason during difficult times. She would do things like call my voicemail and sing "I Just Called to Say I Love You" in her best Stevie Wonder voice. It's hard not to be able to pick up the phone anytime I want and talk to her. I am beyond grateful for the years we had together and the amazing relationship that we had. And it is because of her that I have all of you here today as my amazing family. Mother, I love you with all of my heart. Save a spot for me at that heavenly poker table until we meet again. I love you.
Yeah, my mom was like that. She would always bring in people who just needed that extra love and extra care and non-judgment. So I think a lot of people felt that way, like Corey did, about just being able to, missing a parent and being able to come in and she would fill that role. It's very, very sweet. Anybody else like to come up?
Oh, thank you, Auntie. Auntie, go speak for all of us. We love you, Andrew!
All right, so we're here to say goodbye to Tia. Her name is Gloria, but everybody knew her as Tia. She's an amazing woman. She would do everything for her family. Always sticking by them no matter their good decisions or their bad decisions. She was always there for them. She's an amazing woman. She an amazing poker player. Countless times she would always be the only female, not only at the poker table, but she was probably 30 or 40 years older than everybody there and still kicking their butt. She would take it down. I remember as a little kid going to visit her at the hair salon and walking in, and it always smelled like farts in there because all the ladies were getting perms. Found that out later on. Thought maybe it was just Tia. She was quite the prankster. She always had a little toot on hand, whether it would be after the elevator doors closing or just getting into the bread aisle at the grocery store. And then she would always blame it on whoever she was with, of course. But she was an amazing woman and a prankster. I mean, that was part of her gig. She was a prankster, and I believe she got it from her father, who was the ultimate prankster. He would pretend to burn us with his cigarettes as little kids. I guess that wouldn't go over too well nowadays, but back then it was funny. I remember the first prank that I kind of fell into. First of all, she was an amazing athlete, whether it be a softball player or with the lovely ladies at the Frontier Lanes. I mean, back in the day, right? But she also managed a lot of Brandy's Bobby Sox teams. And I remember one time there was kind of a fundraiser at the end of the year, and we were invited to go. And of course, I was there. I was probably 7 or 8 years old, and I think my sister went. My mom and dad were there, and they sold raffle tickets because they had prizes up front. And walking in, one of the prizes was gigantic. It was the grand prize. It was big box. I'm like, oh man, that'd be great if I won that. So my parents bought a few raffle tickets and gave one to each of us kids. And the night went on, and Tia was up front calling all the names, or calling the numbers off the raffle tickets. And it got down to the last prize, and sure enough, they called my number. And I was like, what? This is great. Are you kidding me? So I go up there, and I see Tia. I can still see her face. Her eyes were happy for me, but her mouth, now that I know about her mouth kind of had a shit-eating grin on it. So I get up there, and the present was wrapped, and I'm like, this is going to be great. This is like the greatest present ever. So I go and I open it in front of everybody. There's probably more people there than there are here now. And when I open it up, it's a huge case of toilet paper. And I'm like 7 or 8 years old. So I'm like, what is this? I didn't realize it was obviously for one of the girls on the team because they're toilet paper kings. I wasn't very happy, but my mom was because we had toilet paper for about a month. But yeah, Tia, amazing woman. Obviously, we're going to miss her dearly. Brandy and Bobby, you guys are some of the strongest people I know. And we got your back. We love you. So let's celebrate her life tonight.
All right, anybody else have a story like that they'd like to share? Looks like Gina's going to come on up, so if you have to use the restroom now, be the time. Come on up, Gina.
Oh, Bobby. Hi, my name is Gina, and I'm Louie and Jeanette's daughter, and Tia was my Tia. When my dad was fishing, she would move in with us because my mother was afraid of the dark. And I cannot tell you the endless nights and shenanigans these two sisters partook in, to the point that it was 1, 2, 3 o'clock in the morning, and they're still going up and down the hallway, but pretending they're ghosts, throwing popcorn at each other like children, or putting us in the car to go toilet paper at Judy Rodriguez's house. It was endless. I think that there was a reason that there were 3 sisters that were called the 3 Musketeers, and it really was to teach us all in this family the example of what real sisterly love looks like, because they were unique and so special and so different. And they showed me what love was for a sister also. So I know that they're all hurting that we lost her. We have the emptiest part of our heart because she's gone, but we can continue to look at this beautiful room with all these beautiful faces that came out to share and celebrate her beautiful life that we shared with her. And I also wanted to share that my brother Mario was obviously the speaker of the family. Was so sorry that he couldn't make it. He loved her dearly as well. And we're just saddened by her loss. But let's celebrate and know that, as Andrew said, Brandy and Bobby, we have your back always. Your family. We love you.
Do you want to say something? All right. As I'm watching these pictures, this is back before digital cameras, so you couldn't see what smile you had on your face, and I noticed that shit-eating grin on a couple of these pictures. So Andy, good call on that one. Thank you. Anybody else would like to come up? Yeah. Come on up. This is Calvin Getz. He was my business partner for about 15 years. We would, every day, we would work from my house, so we had a close connection. He saw her often, so tell.
Good afternoon. Like Bob said, I'm not part of this wonderful, loving family that's here today that enveloped Gloria for all of her life. I was more of an observer, but I knew Gloria for about 17 years. And so I'm here today to let you know the profound effect that she had had upon my life. And I believe that she's had it on your life in some way, in some measure also. So, in order to do that, I'd like to talk about three things. Number one, who was Gloria May Dietrich? And I just want to give you this person outside of the family's point of view. Number one, Gloria May Dietrich was a mother. And what was clear if you spent more than 5 or 10 minutes around Gloria was that she knew, absolutely, beyond shadow of a doubt, that being a mother was the most important job that she would ever have. And she treated it that way. She was an incredible mother. It's been said that God could not be everywhere, and therefore, he created mothers. And sometimes the strength of motherhood itself is greater than all natural laws. Mothers are the only ones who think nothing is beyond their control when it comes to protecting their children. A mother's love is peace. It need not be acquired. It need not be deserved. When you look into your mother's eyes, you know that it is the purest love that you will ever find on earth. And that is the type of motherly love that I saw coming from Gloria Dietrich every single day. But it didn't stop with her children. It didn't stop with Brandy and Bob and Darren. It went to all the rest of the members of her family, and in particular her grandchildren. And God bless her, her great-grandchild, her great-granddaughter. So she was a mother, but she was a lover. Gloria Dietrich was a lover. You know, there's a lot more famous people in the world than Gloria Dietrich, but there may have been no greater lover than Gloria. It didn't matter if you were a family member to Gloria, if you were a sister or a cousin or a nephew or a niece, or whatever you were. If you were around her, you were part of her family, and she loved you. And she was not afraid to show her love. You know, we talk a lot about what we're going to teach other people, but we teach best by what we do, by our example. And her example was stronger than any words that anybody has ever said to me. For me personally, Gloria loved me as a friend of their family, as intensely as anyone other than my own mother. And for that, I will love her for the rest of my life also. And that leads me to what Gloria Dietrich stood for. And at the risk of being repetitive, she only stood for one thing, and that was love. That's all she stood for. But it was the greatest thing she could have chosen. And she showed her love, and she communicated her love with every bone in her body, every fiber, every inch of her heart, every bit of her soul. It was obvious. The love that she had for others poured out of every pore in her body, just as easily as you and I take a breath in and take a breath out every moment. You know, they say love is when someone else's happiness is your own happiness. That's the way she loved. Mother Teresa said, "Spread love wherever you go. Let no one ever come to you without leaving happier than they arrived." She also said that the hunger for love is much more difficult to remove than the hunger for bread. It's been said that the best thing to hold on to in life is each other. And Gloria showed us just how to do that each and every day of her life. Mother Teresa also said, it's not about how much you do, but how much love you put into what you do. And that's what counts in life. Intense love does not measure it. It just gives. Not all of us can do great things, but we can all do small things with great love. And that was Gloria. It is not how much we give, it's how much we love that we put into our giving that counts. I'm not exactly sure what heaven will be like. But I know that when we die, and it comes time for God to judge us all, He will not ask, how many good things have you done in your life? Rather, He will ask, how much love did you put into what you did in your life? And so, I could never repay the love that you gave me, Gloria. But I will always remember you. And there used to be a little saying, a little quatrain in my house when I grew up, and it said, only one life that too soon is past. Only what's done when love will last. Well, Gloria, you did an awful lot with love, and you affected all of these lives and many more. And may God bless you, because your actions will last forever.
All right, we have a few more minutes, so we'll make this the last call. If anybody else would like to come on up here, it's not as scary as it seems, and it's okay if you break down. Anybody else want to go? Okay.
Are you gonna sing? You sing something I wrote? No, I'm not gonna sing.
Bringing her because keep it short. A family that's been through a lot here. But I am very thankful that you're all here with all of your stories about her. She was always full of stories about you. It's two sides to every story. But I think that she lived her life to the fullest, and now what we have is our memories, and I hope that we keep talking about her and keep telling these silly stories and all of the pranks and all of that, and just keep her present, because for me it hasn't really sunk in. I don't see her as often as my dad and my aunt and people that lived with her, and you know, it doesn't really seem real. She doesn't really seem gone, and I hope that continuing to tell all these, you know, fun stories, that she won't ever be gone. So thank you all for coming, and
Anyone else before we close up and all right, Brandy's going to give some instruction on how we break out for food, so I'll let her take over.
Are we hungry? Right? Okay, we've got some delicious food, and I hope I nailed this Ortega rice that Mom used to make. I made it. There's no fingernails in it, let me tell you. But it's an inside joke. Don't ask. But anyways, we're we've got some tacos down there out there. Jeanette's going to start us off. Anyone that is have any children, let's let them go first. And then we're going to start with the head table, and then we're just going to kind of go back and forth. Okay? So I'll just kind of come in and get the tables. So let's anyone with the kids, and let's get the head table. No. But what we're going to do is we're going to go ahead and walk all the way around, and then we're going to have the lines. There's 2 lines, and they're going to go on both sides. So.
Okay, Mama.
All right, so let's have fun here. Okay, we've got Robin over there. Go grab a drink. Let's just start some music and let's have some fun. Mariachi should be here within half an hour. Thank you.